Morning, guys. I'm just going to quickly go over what I've seen this morning, what I've seen last night, stuff like that, and what we're still waiting on, right? So, at the moment, we identified this level on the daily on USD Japanese, still sort of floating inside that level. On the 4 hour, started to push up. We're starting to see a sort of triple top with double top within a triple top on the 4 hour. If we look, so that's our daily zone. We have our 4 hour zone there as well, and it's starting to reject that. We also, by the looks of it, we're starting to see an overall slight downward momentum with a trend line. Not the biggest in the world, but it's starting to go down. It can't seem to break above these levels at the moment, which we were expecting. So if it struggles still to reject these levels here, and what I mean by that is it can't break above here and it starts to reject, I would be looking for possible sells back down into sort of this area here, this clear area here to pull across. That's if we continue to struggle with it on these levels here. 2 hour, pretty much the same. It's rejected it before. It's sort of pulling back now. It's all whether it can actually maintain its momentum. But I'd wait and see how it pans out before we enter any trades there. USD CAD, as we said, it started to drop below as we thought to pull back. What it's actually done is it's dropped below the zone, couldn't maintain the momentum for the sell, and it started to push up now, as you can see there. No real bias at the moment on USD CAD, simply because even though we have pushed back in here, we've still got a lot of traffic to run into. So I'd probably like to see how it reacts to these zones here before I decide where it's actually going to move to. Other than that, there's nothing really that I can see with this pair. I thought it would continue. I thought it would come back up here, sort of reject these levels, and then further down, but didn't manage to do that. So I'll actually wait and see how it pans out. It may have just been that it's had an initial push off this double bottom here on the 4 hour, and then it's coming back up before an initial push down again. But we'll wait and see how that moves. USD Chef still sort of stuck in that little zone there that we spoke of. Bit of a mess overall, nothing really crystal clear there. It started to reject where we expected and dropped, but now it started to push back up. But again, a little bit of consolidation there, so nothing really crystal clear to get your hands on there, sort of floating within these two little areas. Euro USD, as we said, spiked up massively, and then it sort of floated for the last. It floated yesterday, but I'm still expecting it to drop down below here. If we look at the 4 hour, we're sort of now struggling on this little QM level here on the 4 hour. We can't seem to break above it and close above. So I'll actually wait and see how it reacts to this level. I still think we will possibly come back down to these levels and then further down into these. But again, it is a waiting game and how it reacts to this overall QM zone. Because as we know, it's sort of rejecting the double top on the daily. So, and then a 4 hour QM. So looks as if it will start to plummet. If not, we'll wait and see how it goes. We might get a push above here and a break and then push above, but we need to wait and see how it's going to react to these levels first. NZDUSD moving, I think as we identified, yep, off the break and retest level there, sort of inside the break and retest level. It's failed to break above it. It's failed to close above it, sorry, and they are still in that consolidation zone, but it does look as if we're getting a dropwards in sell momentum there. There as well, you can see as it's pushed above, it's now starting to drop nicely below. Now, what I'd be looking for here, obviously having my trend line in, and if momentum continues here, I would possibly be looking for potential QM here. And what I mean by that is little touch there. If it manages to break through this, I'll be looking for a retest in this position. So I'll be looking for it to pull back and retest this level before dropping into these zones here, as you can see there. So if it started to retest, I'd expect it to fill the little gap that it's created back down into these zones for NZDUSD. That's if it continues current momentum. On the 2 hour and stuff, again, still clear there, so I'm expecting a little drop below if it can manage it, a rejection, and then back into these areas here. Pound USD, if we go back now, as we said on the daily, formed that double top. As you can see on the daily, failed to break above. We had the large push above, and then we had a hammer candle inside, and it sort of formed like an evening star pattern now. Massive clue was the fact that this whole candle here was inside the full candle to the left, right? So that tells us that it very, very struggled. Added into the fact that it was a hammer candle, that gave you lots of clues that it was going to move. On the 4 hour, there wasn't many clues apart from the likes of there's a little drop here, and then this massive engulf, basically taking over 3 previous candles. That's telling you it's moving. But lower time frames, again, nothing really crystal clear on the lower time frames to take those. So it's not something I would have expected MD to sort of be in. Even here, you'd be looking for a break retest there, but it just failed. So there's nothing really crystal clear to actually enter on, but it is moving in the direction we did expect off the daily level. There, you can see. Pound Japanese was pretty much the same. We identified this level here, and it's the exact same setup that we have in Pound USD. So we had that as a double top in there on the daily. 4 hour, pushed above, came back underneath. Again, same formation that happened on Pound USD before the drop. Pretty much everything was the same, absolute same. Only issue you had there, your little FTR candle here that you could possibly use as a rejection. Other than that, nothing really crystal clear. But you did have even then you didn't have a nice break retest on these levels here either. So nothing really crystal clear to enter there. But overall, we were right in the direction of where we were expecting it to move. Euro Japanese, done as expected. It's pulled back. It's now pushed up to the zone that we were looking for. Pushed back again, opened, and then just decided to move. We'll now wait and see how it reacts to this zone that we have in. Aussie USD doing as we expected also. On the daily, we can see clear double top on the daily. We expected with this trend line, when it closed back in below, a drop back into these regions. Now, with the way it's looking, we were expecting a first initial drop into here, which has now happened. I will be fully expecting it now to continue its drop into these regions there. Could possibly look for a little break retest here, possible pullback to this area before fulfilling that huge gap that we already have. Again, Aussie Japanese, bit of a mess. Came up to the exact level that we spoke of as a QM level, and then decided to drop. So it was lovely, lovely, lovely trades. We identified that. So again, moving quite nicely. After open, pushed up back into these regions here as expected, rejected them, engulfed straight after, and just continued to drop. So that's something that we needed to keep an eye on, but still very nice trade as we identified. Euro AUD started to drop as we expected, but then just decided to fuck off in the other direction. So one of those ones where just momentum took over. It's actually, when it pushed back above these areas here, it just pulled back up, came back, retested, and it's decided to move now. Lots of wicks in that area over the last couple of days. So again, I was wrong in the regards to where I thought it was going to go. It actually went completely the other direction, but we'll wait and see how it moves now. It could possibly come back up and retest here for a third touch, or a possible QM trade within this area. Now, if it wicks this area here, it's pushed above, but if it closes below and then starts to reject, possible sells back down. Doesn't look as if it's going to though, looks as if it's coming back up to this higher time frame, sort of daily zone to test it to see how it moves. Again, Euro Pound moved what we spoke about in regards to the double bottom. If we move across, again, these levels that we spoke about quite a while ago on Euro Pound came back down here, wicked massively. Again, same sort of situation with double bottoms and double tops, where this candle finished inside the previous candle and it was positive, and that's why it's decided to move. Now, with that, you can see the massive push inside. Came back inside the zone, but that large engulf candle gives you the clue that it no longer wants to be in this cell, and it started to push up. Now, not something that I'd have been totally interested in because I didn't really see a nice entry for myself. But other than that, if you manage to get in, great stuff. But I will be waiting to see how it reacts now. I'd probably be looking at these zones here, possibly these zones as a QM. The way it's floating just now, quite an important price level. So if it continues to have multiple rejections here, we may get a chance to get back into these sell position, back into either this lower zone or this lower zone that we have in there. And that's just on the 1 hour. If we zoom out, we can sort of see what I mean. Massive push up, massive push up. So multiple rejections, and then we need a clue that it's going to move back downwards, but we'll wait and see how it moves. Gold went as expected yesterday, moved down massively, started to move down massively, sorry, and then pushed up. So we were expecting when it started to move back into these areas here, didn't manage to do so, started dropping for a little while and then just sort of started to push up. But again, nothing too crystal clear for me where it was. Pulled up, started to move quite well, but then rejected it completely. We were expecting a drop, but again, nothing really crystal clear to signify the entry. So again, we'll wait and see what happens. Still struggling at the moment to break above these levels here. Now this might do it today on this 4 hour, but we'll actually wait and see, because it could possibly then have another rejection, and if it closes below, you still might get entries for your sell back into these lower regions. Just but wait, it's just basically a waiting game this week on gold. Pound NZD, nothing too interesting. Again, Aussie CAD has moved how we expected. We expected it to drop below, pull back here, and it has. Even if you entered here or you entered on the actual official pullback, we are now starting to drop. So where it is now, sitting on this trend line, we'll wait to see if it can actually break this trend line here and possibly go to this lower region here. Now that being overall target, if it manages to break those, they were then looking for lows to the left, even on the daily. Nothing crystal clear on the daily, as you can see. So even we go to the 4 hours, looking at these zones, that sort of thing. But you did get a nice little QM trade, evening star pattern before the drop. EURNZD, nothing too interesting. CAD Japanese, what we spoke about on the dailies, already started to reject. Came back up, touched this level. On the 4 hour, evening star pattern, it started to drop. The only thing that I would identify here on the 4 hour now is this sort of QM level here. Now, if we start to drop below this region here, which we have done, and then get a little bit of a pullback, we're possibly looking for sells back into the lower position that we would have used as a break and retest. But other than that, guys, nothing else that I'm spotting at the moment. Anything else I do see, I will update.